one of the things that often comes up when we are talking about Brexit, and especially the checks that are meant to go on at the border, you know, the number of times these things have come up. For example, the actual physical infrastructure of building these places, kind of important. They've been standing empty for quite some time. Council's been like, hey, we built all these things and they're not making any money at the moment because, you haven't implemented the checks so that we can, make the money back from building all these things. That's one thing in particular, but at least some, and we must stress, some of the infrastructure is in place. Not all of it has been built, but some of it is still being built. We've only had 4 years, possibly even technically longer than that, if you track it from 2016 for all this stuff to be in place. But it gets even worse because industry bodies still do not know what exactly the full length and breadth of these checks are meant to be. And this makes, of course, smuggling even more easier. So, and this is where the government's crazy, wacky plan for checking these imports and exports comes in, particularly, of course, imports. And of course, those are, the paperwork is already in place and physical checks due to start in April. We'll see what chaos this causes when they get implemented. But oh boy, are things going to get fun now? So, before we talk more about these smuggling, especially when it comes to meat, because apparently this is like a massive black market industry. I didn't know this, but hey, sometimes you learn all sorts of new things sometimes. But when you go, please do remember to click on the like, share, and subscribe button. And of course, down below, there are links to my Patreon page, the one-off donation link called Buy Me Coffee, where you can buy me coffee, the YouTube thank you button, and of course, as always, there's the Pony Club as well down below. So, as always, thank you so much for all the people who do help and support the channel. And my word, so last year we talked about, in fact, we did a video about it. 22 suspicious lorries filled with what was quoted at the time in that particular article, filled with suspicious meat. I think that sums it up when these lorries are coming in. And the big problem is that these loads are not prepared properly. They're not packaged properly. They're not even refrigerated properly. So by the time it gets, to its destination, the meat would be of very, very, very much so questionable quality. And you've got also big biosecurity issues with the fact that you've got to be really careful with things like swine flu. It's ripping through the Russian pig population at the moment, and Eastern European farmers are desperately trying to make sure that it doesn't spread any further. Because if we get an outbreak of this pig flu, put it this way, it is going to absolutely decimate the UK pork industry on a huge scale, like a massive scale. If you remember things like foot if you remember things like foot and mouth and mad cow disease, oh boy, is it going to cause some serious problems? Big problems. If that takes off here, massive problems. But you might say, oh, but these checks are coming in, right? Surely Surely these checks are going to catch all this, right? Oh no. Oh no. Because you could come in, fill out your paperwork and say, I have just normal meat, not suspicious meat. There's nothing suspicious going on in this lorry. Then you could go, okay, you've got to travel to Stevenage, which is the 22-mile inland port place where you've got to go and get checked. Because remember, the checks are not taking place in Dover, because as Dover has said, there's just not the room to be able to put these. So this means that a lorry, if it was, let's say, if you were an honest chap, let's take this to begin with. Let's say you've got the honest driver that has a legitimate, I don't know, good meat, in the back of his lorry. This is what you would do. You would have your paperwork. You'd go through Dover. They say, excellent, you need to go here. You would drive the 22 miles. You go to there, present your paperwork, do all your stuff, get checked out, and then you would drive on. That is what the government should think is happening. However, let's take this now. Let's say you're a bit less an honest dealer, that you do actually have, a wagon load of suspicious meat in the back of your lorry. Let's chart the ways all this could go wrong. So first of all, you come through, you've got your paperwork of, totally legit meat, not anything going on in the back of my lorry, governor. You'd of course then be asked to go to Stevenage. Now, two things can happen here. First of all, well, you may go to Stevenage, or at least you may go part way. This is when you might go to a warehouse, or you might meet, shall we say, another van along the way. Those items might be well transferred to that van, and that van could very well drive off to who knows where to deliver its payload. The lorry would then go to the checking point, get checked out, nothing suspicious going on in that back of that lorry, on you go. That's one scenario that could play out. The second scenario, and this is the truly, truly bizarre part. So get ready, get ready, because there is no legal requirement. If you get told to go to that checking point, there is no legal requirement for you to go there. I am deadly serious. So remember, nothing suspicious going on in the back of my lorry. Oh, please drive to here to get checked out. No legal issues. just drive on. Just drive on to your destination. It's fine. I really do not want to do this. I am willing to bet money we, by the end of this year, probably end up with swine flu cases here in the UK. I am willing to bet on that. And that is going to cause huge damage to the UK farming industry if that takes off. Because if you remember what farmers were like in the post, mad cow era, or even the foot and mouth era, the damage that did to the beef and dairy industry, it's going to happen to the pig industry now. And there's going to be a lot of farmers in a lot of trouble when this starts to happen. So I bear in mind, I do not want this to happen, but honestly, the way that the government have set this up, it is pretty much just straight away asking for disaster. And it only takes one bad load. It just takes one bad load to get through for that driver to, in that case, not even have to go to the checking point because, hey, there's no legal requirement for them to do so. Or, you know, part of that, the part of the, shall we say, the suspicious meat part is transferred to another van and they go off. And then that lorry gets checked. And again, oh, nothing suspicious in here. Yeah, so much could go wrong here. So much could go wrong. But they have been told time and time again what they need to do, what they should be doing, and of course, they ain't doing it. It's just so. I really hope that doesn't happen. I really hope it doesn't happen. I would love to be proved wrong. I would love to be proved wrong on that bet, but my word, it would not surprise me if by the end of this year we have a swine flu outbreak in the UK. Would not surprise me in the least. So, as always, thank you very much for watching. And of course, as always, we'll see you all next time.